All right, welcome back. Quick little news of the day video here. We're going to be starting off with some post-TI roster shuffle period news and then heading into more community-related drama / news that's been stirring up a lot in this past 24 hours pretty much. So starting off with a new roster from Hellraisers. Shout out to the commenter yesterday on my video. I had talked about Bait's new roster that they're going to be heading into the Dota 2 Champions League with. And I was looking at their previous roster, which included Limitless, and I had mentioned that I hadn't seen where Limitless had gone yet, and someone pointed out that he had joined Hellraisers, and sure enough, Hellraisers released their full roster yesterday, and yeah, it's a pretty solid roster they got going. They had a really, really good run at the end of last season. Of course, they didn't make it through qualifiers, but they did end the season very strongly, and they were actually heading into the upper division. They just ended up shaking up too much, and they weren't able to hold on to any of the members. So starting off, their old roster consisted of Kuman, who actually just left Hellraisers about a week ago. Young G, Resolution, of course, stepping away from the pro scene for a little while, taking some time to just reassess his career path and all that stuff. Hopefully he ends up coming back soon. Of course, he's a big name in the Dota 2 community at this point. We have Zayak, who has joined Hydra, and Lil, who of course also just left about a week and a half ago, has not joined a team since. Looking at their new roster now, we have Watson, who of course is coming in from Bait. I think he's been one of their better players so far. Again, Bait, a team that has not had very much success at all. So he's just one of the players that's been kind of a standout player from that roster, finally making it to the tier 1 scene now. We have Rebel coming in from Winstrike. Notably last season, Winstrike did not have the best time around. They were actually bound for the lower division, and Rebel avoids that by just joining a team that's actually bound for the upper division. So we'll have to see how that goes. We then have Limitless, like I mentioned, who had just left Bait not long ago when they shook up their entire roster. He's now joining the new Hellraisers roster. We have Gilger, who is actually coming in from Western Europe. He had a really, really good run with Hellbear Smashers in Season 1, where they finished in the top 2. They made it all the way up to the upper division, and then they had a terrible run in the upper division. I don't think they won a single series. So he was on a stack that was kind of caught in between, where they were a step above all the lower division teams, but a cut below all of the very top-heavy teams in the Western European region. So yeah, he's finding himself back in the upper division once again, however, in a different region. We'll have to see how this time goes around. And lastly, playing position 5, we have Malady, who is a player that I did not see any information on. Again, no Wikipedia page, so if he was on a team previously, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. But for now, he just looks like a newer player, in my opinion. So yeah, they lose a lot of very, very well-known players, a lot of highly rated players after a very, very good season, but they fill their roster with some more star-studded players, and I think that they have done very well for themselves in this post-TI roster shuffle period. And yeah, we'll have to see how the roster performs when the DPC starts up again. Hopefully that's soon. Fingers crossed. Next up, staying in the Eastern European region, or CIS region, we actually have some drama with Arc, who is was a inactive player for Extremum, a tier 1 team in, or I should say an upper division team in Eastern Europe, as well as GPK and DM, who of course are the mid laner and off laner for Virtus.Pro. And this is revolving around the kind of funny thing that's been going on the past day and a bit, which was basically a Herald player being in some 11k MMR games. He basically bought an account in 11k MMR and was playing terribly, and everyone was clowning on him, everyone was making fun of him. You know, it was all fun and games until people started realizing, you know, like, where did he get this account from? Who did he buy it off of? This is a very, very high ranked account. It couldn't have just come from, you know, a random booster who gets you to like 7 or 8k. This was an 11k MMR account. So people started digging, and they found that account had actually had ties to GPK, DM, and Arc. Arc being the actual owner of the account. Of course, he is not actually participating in any pro league. He's been an inactive player pretty much since mid-2020, so it's been about a year and a half now that he hasn't been on an actual team at this point. And yeah, so basically with this going out, the problem with this whole thing, and I should preface that it's not a problem for pro players to have multiple accounts. It's a pretty common thing for pro players to have multiple accounts. As long as they're playing in their own MMR range, it shouldn't be as bad, because of course pro players are getting their accounts scouted all the time. Sometimes they have some cheese strategies that they don't want to be revealing to the public yet, and so they'll be spamming a certain hero, a certain strategy and stuff like that. They want to keep it hidden from the pro scene until they're able to actually pick it in an official game. So again, as long as they're playing in their official or in their actual MMR range, I don't see why that's a problem. The actual problem lies when you're actually selling this account to someone who is not part of that MMR range, or when you're actually smurfing in a lower MMR. And that's what happens here. So basically, people were going after GPK and DM mainly because they were the bigger names of this whole situation. Not many people are as familiar with ARC. Going after them and accusing them of being of boosting this account just so that they could sell it. And they actually have revealed that they made a lot of money off of this account. They're rumored to have gotten over $15,000 for this account. So of course, these being tier 1 highest level players, of course these are players that finished top 6 at TI this year. This is a really big story going on right now, and this immediately spread from just a kind of fun little gimmick on Reddit where people were making fun of this Herald guy to all of a sudden Virtus.Pro having to put out a statement. And honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the statement they had put out. They basically said that, you know, people were reading too much in the rumors and you have to be more sure about what you're actually reading. And it came off really passive aggressive. It came off more of the tone of, you guys are just jumping way ahead of this. There's clearly no story here. You guys need to do better and stuff like that. It really came off as pushing the blame onto the people that were trying to reveal something in this story as opposed to them doing something. They did say that they conducted an internal investigation. However, that was less than 24 hours after this whole accusation thing started. So I don't know how thorough that investigation could have possibly been, past the point of just asking the players if they were involved and then just saying no. So kind of weird for me, in my opinion. I wasn't the biggest fan of Virtus.Pro's response, but again, it's all up in the air right now. This could entirely just be made up rumor and stuff like that. However, it is being blown up quite a bit. So, and then we of course had the statements from the actual players involved too, where we had GPK coming out and saying that, you know, he played on this account, but it wasn't his account and he hadn't touched it for like a month before it got sold. It actually belonged to ARC. ARC is the one that sold it, and since he's not like a tier 1 player, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, stuff like that. DM was saying that he would even take the fall for ARC because he's a tier 1 player and it'd be more difficult for Valve to actually punish a tier 1 player. But yeah, right now it's kind of a weird situation. That's kind of where we are with it right now. So I'll let you guys decide on how you feel about it. And yeah, so let me know, guys, in the comments down below. I as well have the sources for everything I'm talking about in this video in the description. And last little bit of news, again, more community related stuff, and this is less news and more of kind of like a little shout out. Purge and SirActionSlacks, of course, beloved members of the Dota 2 community, at least on the English side, are going to be hosting a one-day ability draft tournament this Saturday with a prize pool of $2,400. They're looking to get up to 64 possible teams participating in this tournament, and the finals are going to be best of 3. Everything other than that is going to be best of 1. It's all going to be casted by SirActionSlacks and Purge. And yeah, this looks like a hell of a tournament. Again, $2,400 prize pool for an ability draft tournament that all happens in one day. So if you guys are at all interested in joining that, link in the description as per usual, as well as all the rules and layouts and stuff like that that they have in their Reddit thread. So, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you have any thoughts or comments on anything I talked about in this video, please leave them down below in the comments. Links for everything in the description, as well as our Discord server. Thanks to everyone who stopped by on the Twitch stream I had last night. It was a ton of fun. There weren't too many people, but we were just playing some party pubs for fun, and it was a good time. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye.